This week, archaeologists in Turkey believe they have discovered the tomb of St. Nicholas, better known as Santa Claus, leaving Santa deniers in shambles. For those of you keeping count at home, it's mythical figures discovered, 1. Embiid conference finals, 0. Welcome to the Moonstamp Cast. I am Jordan. This is the Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer to My Last Christmas by Wham. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man. How are you?
I'm a Santa believer, so I'm doing well this week. I will start the podcast this week a little bit differently. Usually we go right into baseball, but I have a little gift for you, a little surprise for you. So at work, I was able to create this AI thing to create a mini figurine. So I created the Moonstamp mascot.
My God, I love it.
Yeah,
so he is one gray boy.
He's great.
How did this come to be?
So there are these people in Spain who are using AI to create like minifigures and stuff and keycaps, and I've helped them. And they said, "Hey, do you want to beta test our tool for us? We'll give you a free one." And so I was like, "Hell yeah!" So it took me a disgusting amount of time with AI to figure out for it to get that, because I was like Moonstamp Cast and it just didn't do what I wanted. So it took about probably 2 hours of like fine tuning my searches. But yeah, that's our new mascot. We can name him later, but I'm going to have him for every podcast from now on.
I love it, but also we should definitely not make that a clip because people will hate us for using AR art.
I mean whatever. It's not AR. It's not AR art. It's like, I don't know. It's a big company. They can deal with it.
That's very cool though. I like that a lot. We have a mascot.
I was very excited to get it. Speaking of excitement, Juan Soto is finally signed, so we can all calm down for the rest of the offseason, except for Alex Bregman. But yeah, we can all calm down now. He's a Met.
For a fuck ton of money. And a suite.
A fuck ton of money. He's going to be 41 when that contract runs out. Now, he can opt out after the 5th year, but like theoretically, he's going to be 41 when that contract expires.
I don't think he's going to get a better contract, per year salary. So I think he's a Met for life now, unless they trade him.
Yeah, unless they trade him or he opts out or does something. $765 million for 15 years. No deferrals though, which listen, I think Steve Cohen is a madman. I respect that. It's like, I don't know. It's like someone who doesn't take Ozempic. Yeah, if you take Ozempic, I think you're a cheater. But same with the Dodgers and Mets.
He's simply richer than everyone else. And so he's just like, oh well, luxury tax, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to make way more money than this off my parent company and make money back for the Mets being good. So yeah, sure. Luxury tax me, motherfuckers.
Well, he also, I saw this. It's called the Scrooge Index. He spends 104% of his revenue on payroll. So if the revenue of the Mets, it's like $744 million a year or something like that. He spends more than that, like $750. So 104%. So listen, as someone who's owner right now may or may not be destroying the team, not destroying the team, but like not paying the team. I kind of have to give it to Steve Cohen.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
I'm jealous.
I mean, they're gonna lose to the Braves in the AL or the NL East and then losing the wild card round anyway. But still, I'm jealous.
No, I wish our owner. It's very clear that Jim Crane does not want to go over the luxury tax, and I don't know. I feel like you make more money off winning a fucking championship that you'll make your money back from going over the luxury tax, probably, and keeping Houston fans happy and the team happy. And I just don't get it. Altuve came out and said that all our focus should be on signing Bregman. And if your star player's coming out and saying that, it's unprecedented, especially because he's not a big media guy. He doesn't say stuff like that out loud. And he's trying to force Jim Crane's hand, and I hope, I don't know, I heard some progress is being made. I think we offered him $186 million for 6 years, so we only added $30 million onto the initial contract. But I don't know. They seem like they're not gonna budge off their 200. I honestly think that I'm gonna egg on my face, but I think the Astros are going to go up to the $200 million that he's asking for, because it doesn't. What's $14 million over 6 years to you, Jim Crane? What is it? Especially because after this next year, we'll have Montero off the books and Abreu off the books. And so it's just this 1 year you have to worry about. But once those two are off the books, that's so much dead cap money that you can spend. And that Bregman's contract won't be that big of a hit anymore. I don't know. Swallow your fucking pride and do it.
You and I are on very different planes of existence right now, because I saw that contract. And then I saw that Willie Adames signed for 182 for 7 years with the Giants. And I'm just starting to think that it's not going to happen. I know that they're talking about trading Tucker. I think the market for Bregman actually went up, especially with Willie getting those, $182 million for 7 years. Bregman's worth probably 50 more than that, honestly, realistically, just with the production he brings, even if he is tired or not doing much for, let's say, I don't know, half the year or whatever. So I'm starting to think it might be a little over, with the talk of Tucker being traded today. Maybe that's to get some money off the books, but I don't see it.
It'd be 15 million.
Yeah. It wouldn't be enough. So I think that Tucker and Boris might be shooting for, not Tucker, Bregman and Boris might be shooting for more than 200 million at this point, just given the market.
If that's the case, yeah, sure, then Bregman's gone. But if I'm Dana Brown, I'm marching up to Crane's office right now, as soon as this broke, saying, approve the 200 million. We need to give him the 200 million. It's only going to get worse. Fucking say yes. But he's not going to do that. Okay. Well,
Dana Brown has shown himself not to be a great future caster, and Jim Crane has shown himself not to be a great payer. So I don't think either. I mean, those in combination are not going to work with each other. I don't see Dana Brown trying to strong arm anyone in that organization to get a guy like Bregman. I love Moneyball, but I think there's been a destruction of certain baseball ideas because of Moneyball. There might be a guy, Dana Brown might be like, well, we can get him in the aggregate, or we can get him, we can find a third baseman. We have Altuve, we have, not Correa, we have, Pena. Yeah, we have, all these other things. We have Tucker still for, maybe I get two guys for Tucker. So we'll just see what happens with that. But I truly do think that with the way the market's looking, just quickly do an analogy before we move on. In like 7-8 years ago, because I'm a big soccer fan, the soccer market exploded and changed completely. It used to be like relative, not normal prices, because there's never been normal prices in sports, but there were like somewhat normal prices, because it's different than baseball, where like you can actively just buy a player from another team for a certain amount of money. And all of a sudden, like 7 years ago, it just jumped, and the market has changed forever. It's never gone back down. I'm starting to think that with, this amount we're giving, so Soto's getting, with the amount you're seeing with other guys are getting, who are not as good as Soto, not as good as Bregman. I think the market's changed. I don't think Jim Crane invests well in this market right now. I think maybe Tucker's gone too.
We don't really talk about the NBA that much on this podcast, but the NBA had that problem. The NBA currently has that problem where bench players are getting $100 million contracts, and people are like, what the fuck? But I mean, they also don't do 15 years, $765 million contracts. All contracts are going up, but it does feel like baseball has hit a huge spike in the past 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Because I remember when when we signed Bregman to 5 years, $100 million or whatever it was, people were like, whoa, $100 million contract? Wow, that's big for that, that young of a player. And now a 25-year-old, just basically 75% of $1 billion before taxes, of course, and their New York taxes on top of that. But hey, endorsements alone, he'll make that money back, and probably then some.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the world has changed. Also, Max Fried got 218 for 8 years.
I don't care about the Braves' fourth rotation pitcher.
He's probably probably third best on the Yankees now. The third Yankees starter.
It's fine, but he was the fourth best on the Braves.
Yeah. So, anything else? Andres Jimenez signed, not Andre. Yeah, he's signed. It makes me wonder, maybe people are shoring up their options instead of. That's the only hope I have for Bregman. It seems like people are maybe shoring up their options right now. Again, I do not think that's what's going to happen, but maybe that's it. Anything else you have on baseball?
No.
Okay. Let me go into college basketball real quickly. We are getting closer and closer to conference play. Conference play usually starts either like right before New Year's or after New Year's. I think the first UH conference game is December 30th against Oklahoma State. So we're going fast. Oklahoma had a shit week. They lost to Creighton. Thanks Pop Isaacs for exposing them. And Missouri. On the Missouri, I am scared of the SEC. I came on here beforehand. It was like, SEC, bullshit. Like, they don't play, they play too fast. So it turns out they were actually the best league by far, or best conference by far. I think they're like 192-26 right now as a combined entity.
Wow.
They have 3 undefeated teams, which are, what is it? Is it Tennessee? One of them is Tennessee. I don't know who else it is, but they are really good. Oh, it's Tennessee, Florida, and someone else whose name I forget. Maybe Missouri.
Not Alabama, I can tell you that.
Not Alabama. Thank God.
And they were supposed to be the good one.
Auburn was supposed to be the good one over Alabama. Alabama gets a lot of hype, but it doesn't get as much. It's not as good as, let's say, an Auburn, or like even a Tennessee. And Florida kind of came out of nowhere. So they're going to be like a 10-bid league at this point, or a conference. I keep saying league. They're going to be a 10-bid conference at the minimum right now. They are destroying everyone. They're looking good. Auburn did lose to Duke, but I think that's just because Duke plays a little bit better defense they've encountered so far. We'll see what happens as conference play weekends. That's the one thing with Auburn is that if you play good enough defense, yes.
What's the update on White Boy Syndrome Cooper Flag?
I haven't seen anything about Cooper Flag yet being a dick. I know in Ken Palm, he's second and as in best players in the country. If he moves up, maybe he goes to 1 and he becomes a dick right now. But I said about February is when we're going to start seeing it. I think he's a good boy right now, but I think you play a little bit of conference, you play a little ACC action. Next thing you know, you're tripping people on the court like his Kyle Filipowski. Also, a fun stat. We are in the time where you start seeing things like this has always happened, which means they'll win a national championship. As of this week, if you're in the top 12, historically, you always win one of you wins a national championship. So congrats to the top 12 in the AP poll. One of you is going to win it. I don't know which one. Iowa State, by the way, defeated Marquette. I only mention this because Hilton Head is incredibly hard to play at. And if you ask,
it's also beautiful.
It's also beautiful. If you ask an Iowa, no, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. It was about shooting at Hilton, which I feel, I'm not going to say anything about that. But if you ask an Iowa State fan, they may be a little bit confused because they don't know which one. But shooting, I don't know. I love Iowa State. That's about all right now, but we're kind of getting to the end of interplay / cupcake time. Cupcake time is not as much right now, but it's still once in a while you'll see like someone throwing in like if you look at Florida's schedule, they're not putting anyone strong on there. So we're starting to see what's going on. I'll keep you updated on Cooper Flag, White Boy, Duke White Boy syndrome.
Please do.
I think we need to be on the watch for that. Right now, it's is it a hurricane? We're on a hurricane watch right now. We'll see what happens whenever we get to maybe the end of December. On soccer, I had a whole thing. Doesn't matter right now. The World Cup in 2030 and 2034 got announced. I tweeted this and I did everything else on this. I read a blog in October of last year about how FIFA was rigging the entire process for Saudi Arabia. Because basically, if your like continent is chosen, no one can play there for 2 years. And so America, Canada, and Mexico, mostly the United States, is being played in 2026. I will be going to that. I am saving up money right now so I can spend a disordinate amount of money trying to go to one of those games. And then in 2030, for some ungodly reason, they decided to hold it, the World Cup. Brian, do you know how many continents they're going to hold it on in the World Cup on in 2030? 3 continents. You're right. There's the countries that are being used. It's Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Those are 3 continents. So I don't know. Like they're doing that because it's a symbolic thing for the 100th anniversary of the World Cup. They want to host in Uruguay, so they decide they're going to have a couple other games over there as well. But that means there's only one. There's only 2 regions left. There's Oceania and Asia. Also, for the record, Australia is in Asia, not in Oceania anymore. And so there's only like one place you could go, which was Asia. And there's only I think Australia put in a bid and Saudi Arabia put in a bid. So there was no one else who was going to get that other than Saudi Arabia in 2034. China didn't put. I don't think China put it in bid. I don't remember them putting it in a bid because they also had to bid quickly for some reason they had to bid quickly.
North Korea.
I mean, who knows? I mean, listen,
Their women are good.
Their women are good, and I think I actually kind of mean this almost like not jokingly. Almost not. I think the Women's World Cup in North Korea one year might be kind of cool because their team is good, or their youth teams are good. Their under 20s are good. No one quote me on that. No one ever clipped me on that. But at the same time, I think it'd be kind of cool because they have a good team. I think they should be. I think if you have a good team, you should be rewarded for that. And their under 20s are good. So, yeah, whatever. Other things, the Manchester City Chargers went from 115 to 130 this week. Awesome. And the LA Galaxy won the MLS Cup, or they're the MLS champions. I wrote a blog last year about how this is like March. I was like, I'm going to pay attention now. Well, I watched 1 week. I'm sorry. I just can't get into it. My bad. Then that's all for soccer. For hockey, Anthony Stolarz, I think that's his first name. Sorry, I'm still new to this. I'm still an idiot. He's the best hockey player I've ever seen in my life, which is, there are very few of them I've ever seen in my life because this is the first season I've ever watched. But he is the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. I watched him last night when they played the Devils. I want to say he won them that game. He was the Josh Allen of that game. He kept them in that game. He actually won them the game. He is wonderful to watch. The Maple Leafs now have 36 points. They're 17-9 and 2. They might go all the way. I had in my notes that they might go on the way. They might win this thing. I've been told that I should never believe that, but I almost didn't say it, but I'm going to say it because I have no affiliation. I mean, I'm just some idiot on the internet who watches this stuff. And Bristol Lars, he got a 0.974 save percentage last night. I saw tweets that he should win the Vizina. That I don't know. VE. It's apparently the best goaltender in the league. Period. People are calling for him to win that. I agree right now, mostly because I don't know anything else. He's second in save percentage and second in saves or save goals against average. I don't really know what that last one is. I can get the first one, know what the last one is. Sounds good to be second. Mitch Marner is fifth in points. Matthews and Marner played together last night as well. Apparently they don't ever do that, and they were really good. So that's my Maple Leafs update.
Over in Colorado, we're 17-13 now. We're fourth in the Central Division. I was informed that the top 3 positions in each division make playoffs, and we're currently sitting in fourth. But we're tied with the Stars with wins, but they have three less games played, so they've got some points there and there. We've gone on a good run this past week. I believe it's 4-1 in this past week. We now have 8 players positive and plus minus, so keep it up, guys. Of course, Nathan McKinnon leads the team with 46 points. And I have a question for Colorado fans. I've not been able to watch nearly as much as hockey as I've wanted to, and I'm still new to the sport. Kale, all hail Kale, first off. He has 36 points as a defenseman. That sounds outrageous to me. That's crazy. But I don't know if I don't know if defensemen, like, if they're like strictly for defense or they go on runs or they're not runs, skates to the other. I don't know. Is this good? How does this compare to other players in the league? All I know is I'm supposed to say all hail Kale and he's great.
Perfect. I'll make a quick soccer comparison that may help. Again, I don't know the answer, obviously. But in soccer, at least, there's been a new wave where fullbacks, so like the right back and the left back, become more assist focused. They run up the field more. Maybe he passes more. Maybe I don't know. Again, I agree with you. I
think they're mostly assists, but
okay. Again,
but still.
I agree with you. A defenseman getting that many points sounds absurd to me. But most of hockey things they tell me sound absurd to me. So you can tell me anything and I'd be like, that's absurd. Just to move into the absurd quickly as we get into college football. Bill Belichick's back. I would have never seen this.
Maybe.
I thought he got confirmed. I thought I saw that he got confirmed.
Is it confirmed?
I mean, if he's like, listen, just because he's not confirmed yet. Never mind. 59 minutes ago, UNC offers Bill Belichick head coaching job.
Wow. Well, okay. I thought I saw something that part of his clause though is that he wants his son to take over once he's done.
Well, I've seen that too. I think that's not his son's at Washington right now. I think he's the DC at Washington, if I'm not crazy. Yeah, he's the DC at Washington. He's at least moved up. Coaching. Maybe I say this from like my experience because UH basketball has basically a coach in waiting right now who's the head coach's son. I don't think coach in waiting is a crazy thing. If this is like a Nepo son hire for Bill Belichick, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, especially because it's Bill Belichick. He presented a 400-page instructional or like organizational Bible. I imagine if you do that, I don't know how many college coaches are doing that. I don't know. There are not really many college coaches I can think of off the top of my head. Zero that are Bill Belichick level insane. And I mean that in a good way insane. So I understand why there may be a concern. I don't hate it. I think if your son's that good, he's, Steve Belichick has also worked his way. Like he worked his way through the Patriots. He worked his way up in Washington. I'm not going to come after him and be like, wow, I can't believe he's getting this. Like he's clearly a good coach. But yeah, that's just kind of crazy. I never thought I'd say that again, that Bill Belichick is going to coach. 1, also 2 in college. 3, UNC. That's Mac Brown's school, even though he's gone.
If he wins, or if he is 2/5 of a successful coach as his father was, he's one of the best coaches to ever do it.
Yeah.
So it's huge expectations. I mean, I don't know his defensive philosophies or anything like that. I don't know how much they mirror Belichick's, but if there's someone in the sport of football that has deserved a nepotism hire, pretty sure it's Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick will put football first over any personal relationship, including his son.
Well, maybe not his girlfriend, who he recruited well, which again, we need to remind this. He knows how to recruit the youth now. He can, do the. I actually listen. I want to see Bill Belichick do a dance, like a TikTok dance,
or like the Brian Kelly spin thing with the recruit, and he was like,
"Yeah,
whatever."
That hurt my soul.
That hurt my soul too. I was as soon as I saw that, I was like, "I'm glad he left." I think Notre Dame is going to win out in this situation, and so far, so good. We're in the playoff.
I don't know, Brian. I mean, maybe that's the secret. Maybe, he's going to coach Owen and win one year. But yeah, crazy. Again, I'm not against Nepo baby hires. I mean, if the coach is like not a good coach, like if your son's not a good coach, it's just a way to spend time with your son. Sure. But this doesn't feel like that. He's went out and made his own name for himself. Also, I think Bill Belichick's bored. Like, I don't think he wants to be on the Manning cast every Monday for like 2 hours talking football with guys. He just doesn't care. I don't know. So this is good for him. It's like whenever you go to like your dad retires and goes and works at Home Depot like part time because that's what he's done all his life. This feels very similar. He's retiring and going to UNC to like create a factory of NFL players so that his son can then get a job.
Or a starter at golf, or a pro shop attendee at golf and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's he's driving the Bluebell truck, as my dad would say. So that's what he's doing right now. And good for UNC. I mean, they weren't going to be a power. They haven't been a powerhouse in football in a while, or really ever. Mac Brown was there. I always liked Mac Brown. Happy he's having a good retirement. But that's actually not the biggest story in college football this week, which is the playoffs have been set. We finally entered the 12-team era. We have 1 week before that hits, but I'm actually pleasantly excited. And I was going to talk about Alabama and stuff, but I actually want to start with you, who has a stake in this. So, Brian, thoughts? Also, how you feeling?
We did not get a good draw. Being the 7th seed is not great. You definitely want to be where Penn State is. Penn State got the best draw, in my opinion. They have their home game against SMU, and then on the road against Boise. I think those are the two. Arizona State, but Arizona State's hot. Arizona State is hot right now. But Penn State got the best draw out of the with no one with a bye. On my side of things specifically, Indiana. They've only been tested once, and they got their ass kicked by Ohio State. But that doesn't mean Indiana's a bad team. They're well coached. I think it's going to be a pretty hard-fought victory, but I do think we come out on top. I think we're 7.5-point favorites. I'll have lines and bets for next week when we're the couple days before it all kicks off. But I don't know. I think us drawing Georgia is... So in my opinion, Oregon is the most consistent great team in the nation. Playing at best of ability, playing at peak ability, I think Georgia's the best team. The problem is, like I've said multiple times, Georgia flips a coin before games, and sometimes they flip it again at halftime. Are we good this week or are we bad this week? Ding! 50-50 shot. I feel like half their games they've looked kind of putrid. They've won some of those games, but they've looked putrid, at least coming out the gate. And then the other half, they've looked completely dominant. What they've done to Texas this year is phenomenal. But then they go against Georgia Tech and take it to the 8 overtimes. Or they almost lose to Kentucky. Or they get their ass kicked by Alabama, and then the second half, they're like, fuck it, let's flip the switch. I think Kirby Smart is the type of coach, like I said last week, against UT, where people, and I got disagreed with. People were like, no way. Texas is a way more complete team. Georgia's not doing anything. Georgia won that game. And I think this is Kirby Smart's time of year, and this is where he can turn it on. So I think we beat Indiana, and then I don't think we beat Georgia. I mean, we can beat Georgia, but like I said, that coin flip's going from probably about 50-50 to about 80-20. Now, Carson Beck is hurt, but if you watched the game, they almost looked better with their backup mobile quarterback in. So I don't know if that's an advantage. But
yeah, I mean, Carson Beck needs to be, if he gets hornier on Maine, maybe he'll be better, because that's my SEC quarterbacks get better when they
horny on Maine.
They send their dicks to women. That's kind of that's kind of like their superpower. Their kryptonite is abstinence. But yeah, I think I agree with you that Georgia probably is the team that's going to win this. I hate to say it. It feels like a cheapstake.
Oh, I never said that.
Oh, okay. What did you? Okay.
Oh, no. We'll go through our brackets here in a minute.
Okay. We'll go through brackets. I don't know. I don't know what I want yet. I actually have a couple thoughts about things that could happen that I cannot figure out if they will happen. And that has to do with the timing of the games, because everyone has at least 2 weeks off. Some have 3 weeks off, some about that time. I want to see how that affects, because there are like the most times we ever see really teams who have like a long extended break is like back in the day, a New Year's Six Bowl. But that was like, maybe 3-4 weeks of breaks. I want to see right now what happens when a team gets an extended break and then plays a team that played last week. Because it's not 1 week off. It's not like a bye week. It's a longer break than that. Historically speaking, after like looking at other sports, a long break is actually not super helpful. But I wonder if that will play here. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. Yes.
I feel like that is more in the case in your basketballs and your baseballs and maybe your hockeys. I feel like football is different. I feel like those bye weeks are coveted, and having a break is coveted because your body just gets to heal, because football is a violent sport. Not saying other sports aren't hard on the body. Not the case at all. They're very hard on the body, but you're not smashing in at 20 miles an hour at each other as hard as possible, like hard on the body. So I think most of the sports, yes, rest versus rust. Football, for the most part, I feel like those bye weeks are coveted because your body gets to recover. Now, you have to practice hard. You have to not lose a step. But I think the fact that you're not having your back, neck, and shoulders crunched over and over and over again as offensive and defensive linemen, and then a running back not getting smoked all the time, and his legs, he gets to rest those legs and they can build back as much muscle as possible, and then he's fresh. That's what they've always talked about, is fresh legs. So I think it's actually a big advantage to have a bye or time off. And Notre Dame, sure, we don't have a bye. We'll never have a bye. But at the same time, we never will play a conference championship. So we already have that championship week off, an extra week off. So we kind of get a bye every single time.
Mm-hmm. I just wonder, because I'm going to make a prediction right now. Could be so wrong. I feel like first quarters for this first week are going to be slow. That is my entire prediction. I understand what you're saying. I think at the same time, yes.
I know. I agree. Continue.
Yeah. I think if you take enough time off, you're going to get a little bit, like, it's not going to be like rusty, like, the first game of the season, but it's going to be like rusty enough to where, okay, the first quarter is going to be a little slow. And I wonder how that plays into teams like 2 weeks from now.
I agree, I agree that first quarters are going to be slow, but not for that reason. I believe first quarters are going to be slow because people are going to be feeling each other out. They're not going to want to come out of the gate super aggressive because they don't want to fumble their chance at the first 12-team playoff, the most chaotic playoff, the most shot a team has to win that isn't the 1, 2, or 3 or 4 has at winning a national championship. I think it's going to be very conservative. I think, not to get into the betting thing of things, I think unders are going to be the play heavy in the playoffs.
So
I'll be surprised if more than 3 overs happen in the entire playoff. Maybe in the finals, maybe in the championship game, because they're going to be like, all bets are off. We got to fucking go for it. But I feel like, especially in this first round, a lot of unders are in because their defenses are going, or offenses are going to play conservative because they don't want to turn the ball over, because one turnover and you're out.
I disagree with that. For most of the, at least for first quarters, and mostly the game, I think you're going to see teams come out and play aggressively. They're going to be like, "Fuck it, we need to like if you're a higher seed, like let's say like you're, I don't know, you're like an SMU or you're a Clemson, you're going to come out firing." Because like, listen, one turnover in the first quarter is not going to destroy you. One turnover in the second quarter is not going to destroy you. Once you get to the third and fourth, that's when it starts to destroy you. You want to kind of figure out that game, build that lead, build that strength to demoralize the other team. That's just me. I think what happens there is, do the other teams react? Do they play aggressively? Do they play conservatively? I think it was Bill Belichick who said there are actually only 3 quarters in football. There's the first quarter, which is you plan for the entire week or however long you have. Second quarter, you're making minor adjustments based on that and how the other team's playing. Halftime, you go in there, you make big adjustments. You think about the game, think about the rest of the game. Play the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, it's guns a-blazing because you have to win the game. You have to win or keep the game. I think you're going to see teams go in there, especially if you're a higher seed and you realize kind of, hey, maybe this is a better team than me, but I can outplay them right now. If I can outplay them for 2 or 3 quarters, the fourth quarter I can stand back. So that is my take. I don't know over under honestly what it's going to look like. It could be over like half overs. If you're going to like a big half, like for a half, it's an over. I don't know. I do think you're going to see like a team like Texas maybe come out and play conservatively. That may just be Texas because Quinn Ewers doesn't play football anymore. He just runs the ball. They run the ball because he can't throw the ball or run. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's my take on how people play. Now, again, I could be so wrong. This is the first time we're doing this, so who knows?
True. We have no idea. This is going to be so much fun to watch and gamble on, because it's going to be pure fucking chaos. Half of these lines, it feels like Vegas is just like dartboard.
No one knows, which is the beauty of this entire thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think they made the correct decision. I don't think it needs to get bigger than this. I think 12 is the perfect amount.
I mean, you've heard the Alabama. Also, I just want to say something. I think I'm right on this. I like to thank FSU fans for being really annoying for a year. Because of that, we now didn't have to deal with Alabama in this playoff because they didn't deserve the playoff. But yeah, I mean, say what you want about maybe SMU. SMU should have been in there no matter what. Just because they're the ones who looked at the entire season. Alabama doesn't get in there. Thank you, FSU fans, for your service. We salute you in your pain. Yeah. Also, Boise State is a 3.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If you win your conference, you're supposed to get one of the top 4, I believe. But I don't know how that works because I don't know exactly. But like Arizona State getting a bye over Texas and Boise State getting a bye over, honestly, Penn State is fucking nuts. But it's because they're conference champions.
Okay. I read the rule. The 5 highest ranked conference champions at the end of championship week in an automatic playoff berth.
Okay.
So theoretically, like someone in the big,
and then the 4 highest get the buys, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that probably is what it is. I don't know. But again, I think maybe the 3 seed. I think Texas actually is appropriately seeded. I think they have not looked good for the past couple of weeks. I think Arizona State has looked better. I'm going to be so honest. I have not watched Boise State, which is not a crazy thing because they're in the Mountain West. I've watched highlights, but I've not seen them properly. But I watch Arizona State. I think Texas is probably appropriately seeded. They probably were outside the top 4. 5 makes sense.
I want to walk back the Arizona State thing, Texas over Arizona State thing as well. Arizona is playing some of the best ball in the nation right now. They are the hot hand. It is not. Like we were saying that anything happened, Arizona winning this thing is definitely a possibility. I don't think it happens, but it's definitely a possibility. Do you want to run through our brackets real quick?
Sure. Just quickly, I'm going to say this because I said something earlier. Didn't agree with it in the first place. I don't know why I said it. That Georgia was going to win. I actually don't think anyone who's in the second round is going to win. That is my hottest take here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually, I'm just going to do this based on vibes because I've been thinking about this too much. So how do you want to do this?
Okay, we'll just go. We'll just run through the games, I guess. This isn't going to make a clip, but because it's going to be way too complicated. But let's go. Tennessee, Ohio State.
I'm going to say actually Ohio State wins this.
I have Ohio State as well.
Also, quickly, can we just talk about this real quickly? Did you see the lawmakers trying to make it illegal to plant a flag on the Ohio State field?
Cringe. You lost all dog for that. Ohio State has no dog in them.
That's a dweeb move. Huh? That's an absolutely dweeb move. So, sorry, but yeah, Ohio State. No, good pick.
I might change my bracket next week after more information like this stuff comes out because I definitely feel like I want to change that because that's just soft.
Yeah.
But I have Ohio State winning. Clemson and Texas.
So here's the thing. I don't want to choose Texas because I don't think Texas looks good. The problem is Clemson also does not seem like that strong of a team. So I'm going to choose Texas. I may change this next week. My bid right now is Texas.
This is our first. Yeah. First one. We'll have a revived one next week to see how we really feel when it's a little bit closer.
Yeah, we're doing a rough draft right now.
Yeah, I've got Texas as well. Notre Dame, Indiana.
I'm going Notre Dame for you, baby.
Notre Dame, I agree. But this is the most classic. Notre Dame's made it to the promised land, the final stretch. Time to drop a big game. So It's not going to be the biggest surprise in the world. Notre Dame, Houston fan, this is classic. Drop the ball for my sports teams, and we're out when we're not supposed to be out. We lose to teams we're not supposed to lose to, and we sometimes beat teams we're not supposed to. SMU, Penn State, State Penn. How dare I?
Oh, I'm clipping that. I'm kidding.
No, absolutely. I've said it the entire time.
I'm going to say Penn State right now because I just don't think SMU is good enough to beat them. Yeah, talk to me next week because the thing is, I know at some point I'm going to choose an upset, and I feel like that's the most upset of the games to choose from.
I got State Penn as well. All right, all the way back over there, Ohio State, Oregon.
So Ohio State and Oregon played already. Oregon won that by a point. I'm thinking I have to say Oregon, but the vibe could be Ohio State. And so I'm
that's where I'm going.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say Ohio State because
I'm going Ohio State, man.
Because they're going to trade losses.
That was a close game.
It was a close game.
They screwed up because they thought they had a timeout. Because if they had a timeout in their pocket, or Carson Beck realized it and threw it out of bounds or spiked it instead of running it, they kick a field goal, they win that game.
Yeah. So it's a different game this time. I think Ohio State's going to be hungrier. Also, Ryan Day may kill somebody. I don't know, or at least Ryan Day will be executed at midfield if they lose. So,
Arizona State, Texas.
So, Arizona State's the hot card. I'm a Big 12 believer. I'm a Big 12 evangelist. I'm a Big 12 supremacist. Evangelist. Yeah, I evangelize for the Big 12. I'm saying Arizona State. Also, because I don't think I don't know what's going on with Texas. Maybe if they put Arch in, but I don't think they will.
Okay, I have to admit something to you. Whenever you said you were a Big 12 guy, I was like, oh yeah, he's picking Texas because I'm still not used to this alignment. I'm going Texas because this is the game that Quinn Ewers gets injured and they put in Manning in for the rest of the game and for the rest of the playoff. So I've got first quarter injury Quinn Ewers. Here comes Manning.
Here's the thing. I don't think Sark trusts Arch yet. He just does everything they put. Unless they put him with a cupcake, they're not letting him do anything crazy. So I don't know if he trusts him yet. Now again, this could be a situational thing. I just don't think he trusts him yet.
It can't be worse than the way Quinn. I'm never going. Ewers has been playing. It can't be worse.
Ewers. Okay, Ewers. Yeah. I mean, for the record, if we want to become Quinn Ewers fans, we can just call it QAnon because we have two anon. We can just swipe that one up.
Jesus. All right. Notre Dame, Georgia.
part of me wants to pick Notre Dame because I'm not a Georgia believer fully, even though I said they were going to win. I think I just said, I don't know, I just blacked out, which happens. But I think Georgia probably has this, especially if Carson Beck isn't playing. I don't think, no offense, I don't think your offense is strong enough for that.
I have us losing this game, so there is no offense taken. If we get by Indiana, a game that we're supposed to win, that we normally don't win, and we then have to go to not to Georgia, but play Georgia, they're going to flip that coin. I have a feeling it's going to come up heads, which is the good Georgia. And we're not. Our defense is incredible, but our offense can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I've got Georgia as well. That would be State, Penn, Boise.
Yeah, I don't think Boise. I think Boise gets murdered. So they played Oregon, didn't win, and that was an early Oregon. I mean, this is Penn State all the way.
Yeah, I got State, Penn as well. So my Final Four is Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, State, Penn.
Yeah, my Final Four is Ohio State, Arizona State, Georgia, Penn State.
Okay, so on the left side, I'm going Texas. I think with a full couple weeks, or I think it's a week and a half of Manning Stark being like, "Hey, you are the man now. We have to game plan you, and I can't." And like even if he is like, I don't fully trust you, he has to trust him if they want to win this thing. So I think they're going to let Manning sling it. I think Manning is gonna do it. He's going to show why he was coveted as a recruit that's sent by God. And I think so. And Ohio State is not the Ohio State of the past, by the way. So I think it's Texas.
So I want to choose Arizona State, but I just don't have the feeling because the funniest outcome for this football season, which is all I have these days, is that Ryan Day wins a national championship, which we'll see if that happens with my bracket. He wins it, and then they fire him anyway. And I think there's a non-zero possibility that happens, and I think that'd be the funniest possibility of all time. So I'm going to have Ohio State win this. I'm going to make a game time decision when we get to the final what I want, because I'm pretty sure I know what my final is.
Yeah, it's not like we're locked into these decisions. Yeah. We're going to have it adjusted week by week. But I'm going to have a different bracket next week probably. I'm probably going to have some tweaks, do a little bit more research and everything. But Georgia State Penn.
I think Georgia gets that still. Like Penn State, for all its accolades, I still think maybe I'm SEC biased. I still think Georgia probably takes that one. I know. After I've been railing against it for the entire season.
I have State Penn winning this.
Okay.
I have Georgia just being exhausted after a tough battle with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be – I love you. I don't think it's going to be that tough of a battle. I think what's going to happen is the offense.
I think you're underrating our defense. I think their defense is going to eat all day, but I think we're going to hammer the shit out of their offense, and they have a freshman quarterback, or at least that was his first live snaps. We're going to hammer the shit out of him because we do well against mobile quarterbacks. Yeah. We do really well against mobile quarterbacks. I think what's going to happen
is the offense is going to be so distraught. The Notre Dame offense is going to be so distraught by the fact that the defense is playing well that – what's going to happen is that the offense is going to have more breathing. The Georgia offense, I should stop using pronouns. The Georgia offense is going to have more breathing room for a freshman quarterback. This is my prediction. We'll see what happens. That will probably change next week. So, yeah.
So your final is Ohio State, Georgia.
Yes, and I hate myself for it.
Mine is Texas, State, Penn.
Yes.
And I have Texas winning.
I'm going to change it next week, so I'm just going to say this anyway. I think Ohio State wins, and then they fire Ryan Day. So I think it's the funniest possible outcome.
That would be a funny outcome. I am going to keep this, but just to see how my initial does against the final. But we'll have a new bracket next week after we sleep on it a little bit more and think about it, because I think you made some pretty good points that I'm going to have to consider.
Again, I like to remind you, I'm stupid, and I just go basically on vibes. Before we get to the NFL, because we're going to get the NFL, there's not a ton this week.
There's quick.
Yeah. Heisman finals. I'd like to congratulate Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward on a free trip to New York. Good for you guys. It's going to be a fun time. And Travis Hunter, I'm probably winning this, even though Ashton Giante, I think he makes a good case. I think Ashton Giante should be winning. I don't think Travis Hunter makes a bad case.
I think Colorado is a media darling.
Yeah.
I think Travis Hunter is more of a media darling than Gianti. So I think, and that's who votes. That's who votes.
No.
So I think Hunter wins it. By the way, all four of these are strong candidates, any other year.
Yeah.
All 4 of these people are probably winning it any other year. But I think it's going to be Travis Hunter.
I mean, this has been a 2-man race for the past 4 to 5 weeks. I think Scatabo,
ever since Miami lost.
Yeah, I think Scatabo has a argument to be there. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Again, it doesn't matter. It's just a free trip to New York. So I don't know. Go to the M&M, go wild to the M&M store. I couldn't get that out. But yeah, that's all on college football. Welcome to the final time. This is going to be amazing.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Going over to the NFL, I have some notes. It's not going to be nearly as long or nearly in depth. This was kind of a week, in my opinion. And not just because Texans were on bye. Literally, that's all the notes I have. We're getting some players back, but I don't. I hope we just look like a different team after this bye.
I have a fun note on the Texans for you. So Texans have blown a block or allowed a pressure on 30% of downs this season, which is concerning considering that's not a good way to help a young quarterback develop.
Yeah, I want the offense. Bobby Slowick's probably not gone unless he gets a head coaching job, which I'm hoping for at this point. Bobby Slowick's not gone.
49ers. 49ers, you want to trade?
They have to get a new offensive line coach. They have to. It's ridiculous how bad it is. But that's all I have on the Texans. You got anything else?
No. I mean, we maybe lost. Let's see, we didn't lose to the bye week.
Yeah, let's hope we tied. Chiefs Black Magic continues. They had a doink go in. I don't. There's nothing to be said anymore about the Chiefs. They're just gonna win it all. It's inevitable. Enjoy your team in the regular season while you can, because I'm tired, Jordan. I'm tired, bro.
So I've come to a conclusion. Either someone at the Chiefs collected all the Millennium items and they just have all the power in the world under that stadium, or they're directly sacrificing children. I don't know which one it is.
To summon the blue-eye red white dragon?
It was some of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, actually.
Oh,
yeah, you forgot
Polymerization.
Polymerization. I said that this time. I think it was our first Yu-Gi-Oh moment of the week,
too. That was our first Yu-Gi-Oh moment. Yeah. I went, I couldn't get it out.
Yeah, and apparently when we just say it on the fly, it works way better. Yeah, so they shut out the Chargers in the first half, which... Okay, the doink, I thought was when I saw the doink, I was like, that's not going in. And then like a half second realized it went in. There's blood magic happening and I can't, there's been an investigation. The Catholic Church needs to investigate them at this point. Not the NFL, the Catholic Church needs to go in there and do something. The Domine. Actually, Brian, if someone wants to pay for this, I will go to Arrowhead and just play not Dominion, whatever, chants outside the stadium until something good happens. So
I agree. Yeah. I'm in.
That and breaking Chiefsaholic out of jail.
49ers are back-ish, but that's also kind of because they kind of play in a fucked up division that just no one wants to win it. It looks like it is going to come down. I mean, it's Seahawks to lose right now, but the Rams are getting hot, and which we'll get to in a second. And the 49ers starting to look okay. They've looked better and better. They started out horrible, but they've looked semi better, and then they've taken some step backs. But they looked good. George Kittle is phenomenal. 6 receptions for 151 yards. That's nuts.
I actually have in my notes that the NFC West, to me, is the most interesting division at this time in the season, only because the Seahawks are 8-5 and the 49ers are 6-7. Not anyone can win, because I saw the Seahawks, I think, have a 62% chance to win the division, but it's close enough to where it seems like anyone can kind of win it.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a fun
And I believe they have a lot of division games at the end of the year.
It may not be the best games, but it's going to be games nonetheless. It's going to be games with a lot on the line.
The Vikings dismantle Kirk Cousins' return. Holy shit. If this Sam Darnold that we saw at the beginning of the year is back like he was against the Falcons, the Vikings are so fucking slept on. Because they hit a major midseason lull, but if they get back to the way they were at the beginning of the season, they are a threat. And the NFC is not wide open, but there's 4 teams.
Yeah. I mean, they still are 11-2. Let's not forget that. Like, maybe they're not killing it, but they're still 11-2. They find ways to win. Not to be like a football. I mean, I am maybe a football guy, but like, not to say anything, but like, if you find a way to win, that's all that matters. So if you can find a way to win, Sam Darnold looks phenomenal.
Unless you're the Chiefs, then it's black magic.
Yeah, the Chiefs. The thing is, it's improbable what's happening. Even Brady lost at one point. Dominic. I found like copyright-free music, and every time we mention the Chiefs, I'm going to put that there. But
speaking of the Rams, their offense is so fucking back.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua is insane. 12 receptions, 162 yards, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. I think he's a 5th round pick. Don't quote me. Might be 4th. But, man, Sean McVay knows how to use his guys.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to see like Puka Nacua killing it. There's a guy who he just looks good every week. I know, like, I don't know. I think at the beginning of the season he didn't look as good, but it seems like he's much better now. That game was a amazing game. I loved that game. That kind of made up for the fact that we didn't have many great games this week. Josh Allen, 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns.
Pretty fucking good.
I don't know if you saw it. They tungsten armor doiled him. It was, the first time any quarterback's ever done this, as he sits on the bench like slumped over because they're losing. So I maybe an MVP candidate. I think if you tell me Josh Allen or Lamar, I think there's a good argument for both of them.
Blind resume right now. QBA, 3,033 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 416 rushing yards, and 9 rushing touchdowns. Or QBB, 3,290 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 678 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns.
I think I saw that same tweet where Lamar is the better quarterback overall. Now the question then becomes, what are we grading MVP on? Because like, I'm not gonna say the
bingo.
Yeah, that's like
that was gonna be my whole point, is that you do not. Sure, it looks on paper Lamar Jackson is having the better season at quarterback on paper. Josh Allen, what he's doing for the Bills is far and above. He's my front runner for MVP. That takes nothing away from what Lamar Jackson is doing. Lamar Jackson is also playing phenomenal. But if you're basing it pure off stats, Lamar Jackson's going to three-peat. If you're watching every single game, holy shit, what Josh Allen is doing and what he's having to play through, scrambling for his life all the fucking time, not having a safety net that is Derrick Henry, which is not a bad thing. That's the thing. It's not a bad thing that they have a player like Derrick Henry to take some of the load off of Lamar Jackson on the goal line. So when they get in within 5 yards, Lamar Jackson's like, cool, I don't have to break my body. Here you go, Derrick. But what Josh Allen's doing is fucking incredible, and he's my MVP favorite.
I mean, he's actively having to beat the other team and his defense. I will say as well, Josh Allen, rings given 1, Lamar Jackson rings given 0. So I think maybe that's the most important. His most valuable player is just about football. That's the question. We should maybe Phillip Rivers should have been the MVP every year with his like 20 kids.
That's all I have on the NFL. Do you have anything else?
Yes, Bengals Cowboys. It brings me so much joy to watch the Cowboys lose. You were so right, by the way. You said Joey B was going to come back this game. Didn't really maybe come back all the way, but like you said that.
Well, hold on now. Joey B has put up MVP numbers this year. If he was on a team that if he had half a fucking defense, they have lost 4 games after putting up 33 points or something like that. The rest of the NFL has lost 4 games putting up 33 points. I'm not saying Joey B. I'm saying Joey B's been back. He's having a hell of a season. His team is just bad. Him and Jamar Chase are the only takeaways from the season that they go, nice. Everyone else, go fuck yourself.
Here's the question for this kind of goes back to the MVP thing. If you lose, even if your defense sucks, does that mean you're the most valuable player?
Oh, I mean, the fact, no. I'm not saying he's MVP. He's going to win MVP. I'm saying he has MVP numbers.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. With that said, Jamar Chase put this team on his back. Also, the Cowboys lost in a Cowboys lull way.
Yeah.
So that was, again, I always enjoy when anything bad happens to Dallas. Bryce Young, back. Or not even back, just here, finally. He's looking downfield. He's getting the ball out. Doesn't seem overwhelmed anymore. Andy Dalton, you magic red-haired genius. Thank you for all you've done for this league. We appreciate your service.
Since Bryce Young's return, Bryce Young has looked better at quarterback than C.J. Stroud. Now, not necessarily C.J. Stroud's fault, but it's not like Bryce Young over there is playing with house money.
No, but like you're so right. This is. I think we talked about it at the end of last season, like just not you and I, but like people about how C.J. Stroud was obviously the good pick, like number 2. Haha, he was the very. Listen, I again understand it's not all CJ's fault. CJ does look a little questionable at times now. He looks like he's defeated. Bryce Young looks back. Maybe at the end of the season, we revamp the narrative. We'll see.
I think CJ Stroud is going to have the better career. Hold on. Before anything else is said, I think CJ Stroud has a better career. I think we're the better team overall. But perhaps we put Bryce Young, lol Panthers too quick in the grave with how the hell did you pass on CJ Stroud? Because Bryce Young, he looks better since he's come back than CJ Stroud has. And I don't know. I'd put most of the blame for CJ Stroud's struggles on Slowick on the offensive line, if we're being honest. I feel like it's 10% some of his decision making has been questionable, and part of that is his lock on like, oh God, if I don't have Nico Collins, I'm looking bad. But besides that, it's the factors around him.
I mean, I was going to say, I think it can destroy your confidence pretty quickly when you feel like you have no weapons on you. So again, I don't disagree with that. I am waiting to see what the Panthers do in the long term. But I do think Bryce Young looks like the better quarterback now. That's not a crazy take. Eagles, Sirianni, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts kind of finally targeting them. We'll see what happens with them. I just want to mention the Eagles. I want to mention the Dolphins as well. Tua. This is a made up, like this is a stat someone just made up. He's the first quarterback with 40 pass attempts, multiple touchdowns, 0 interceptions in a 3-game stretch. Now that's really cool. It sounds like a made up stat, but it's really cool. He's averaging over 270 yards, this season per game, 2 on his back. Speaking of
stronger than ever.
Speaking of someone who should take back shots instead, Tyreek Hill has had more children in 2024 than touchdowns. He's had 5 children. He's had 4 touchdowns. So I don't know what's happening in that man's life, but I mean, I don't know, Spartan or whatever. If you want to sponsor someone, you should probably sponsor him. But he's helping the
Trojans. You mean?
Yeah. I don't know if it's I couldn't think of the brand name. Yeah. Thanks, USC. Caleb Williams, by the way, first rookie quarterback since 1950, 6 starts without an interception. Bears,
Yay.
First team since 1950, or really ever, to have 6 consecutive games lose them with 0 interceptions. So very cool. Thank you, Bears.
Well, Bears.
That's actually a tungsten armor Doyle moment. So, yeah.
All right, ready to move over to picks?
Let's do picks, baby.
All right. I went 7-6 last week. We'll figure out the record soon enough.
I went 8-5 last week.
All right. Let's run it through real quick. Starting Thursday Night Football, Rams versus 49ers.
Rams.
Commanders versus Saints.
Commanders.
Chiefs versus Browns.
Chiefs.
Please, Jameis, but Chiefs. Yeah. Bengals versus Titans.
Bengals, not Bengals.
Bengals. Dolphins versus Texans.
Dolphins.
Yeah, man. I want to see what this team looks like after the bye, but for now it's Dolphins. Ravens, Giants.
Ravens.
Jets, Jaguars.
I'm going Jaguars.
Really? I'm going Jets. That dysfunctional fuck over there. I love it. Cowboys, Panthers.
Panthers, actually.
Bucks, Chargers.
I'm going to say Bucks.
Okay. I'm going to say Chargers. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Bucks. Colts, Broncos. Duel of the horses, I'm going Broncos. Mm-hmm. Patriots, Cardinals. Patriots. Bills, Lions.
Bills.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked, actually. The Lions are the best team in the thing, but I just feel like the Bills are so hot right now. Even if even coming off that loss, that comeback that they had, oof. Steelers, Eagles.
Steelers.
I'll go Eagles.
Yeah.
Packers Seahawks.
Let me give you the Packers. Yeah, give me the Packers.
I'll take the Seahawks. And then Bears Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. Vikings. And then Falcons Raiders.
Is this the Monday night game?
These are both Monday night games. Thank God.
Oh my God! They give me Raiders.
You can have two shitty games instead of because the Vikings are going to kill the Bears, and then
at least that will be
about.
At least it'll be a fun bad game. Falcons Raiders will just be a bad game.
Who are you going? Sorry.
Not Vikings. Raiders. There we go.
You're going Raiders?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going Falcons.
Okay.
And then over on my side of things, I went 4-9 last week. It was a bad week. It was real bad. I'm avoiding a lot of totals. I have 4 totals out of these 16 games. The rest are spreads. Starting Thursday Night Football, Rams 49ers over 49.5. Bengals -5. Panthers -2.5. Ravens -14.5. Chiefs -4. Jaguars +3. Dolphins +3. Saints +7. Bills Lions over 54. That's going to be such a fun game. Broncos -3.5, Patriots +4.5, Steelers +4.5, Chargers -3, Packers -2.5, Bears Vikings over 44, and Falcons Raiders under 44.5. Had to throw one in there, and that's that game for sure.
That's a great under right there. Even I don't even bet, and I would do that. I did forget to mention something about I said the Texans didn't lose the bye week. I forgot what happened. They may have lost the bye week because Alshire posted himself as the Joker on Instagram, which if you want to tell everyone you're not a crazy psychopath who tries to kill your opponents, maybe don't post the Joker. So wanted to point that out, bring that up real quickly because that looked bad. Last thing for me, I also posted a blog this week about Medrick Burnett Jr. If you want to go check it out.
I've got one more thing as well. Navy Army over 38.5 for the troops.
Hey, thank you for your service to our TV screens this weekend. Did you just fucking destroy?
Yes, I just hit my wrist on my desk.
Well, maybe they'll sacrifice that to the troops. Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Auric Polaris across all social medias, especially on twitch.tv/Auric Polaris, AURICPOLARIS. Okay, it's a different part of it. I fucked up. Great. I am going to stream Bloodborne on Friday. I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm going to do some buckshot roulette during the afternoon. Saturday is also an afternoon stream with Bloodborne, maybe Friday as well. Jordan, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Jordan's Thoughts on Twitter, Jordan with an E. And then find me at Moonstamp on everywhere, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but that's all of them. Everywhere you can find anything. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate you listening. If you feel so inclined, Brian.
Leave a comment on whatever social media that you're commenting on, what the biggest upset of the college football first round is going to be.
I like that. Perfect. Yes, leave a comment no matter what. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Also, rate us where you can rate us. We really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much, and we will see you all next week.
Stay beautiful.